Yeah, it was very up close.
There it
and
goes.
personal.
There it goes.
Yay!
It was up close and personal. You look small because I'm in the.
It's 5'2".
Pretty tall.
Out?
That wasn't plugged in.
Oh,
there we go. Okay, there we go.
Now we've got audio.
Okay, up and running, audio world. So welcome to the exit.
Oh, big news.
Engaged. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Why?
I know, I thought about that.
Because isn't it all meaningless?
Yeah, none of it really matters. The points are made up and don't really matter, or whatever.
I was listening to something about that today, about hearing that again, and it's like, well, your life has no meaning.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, it does.
Just if there's not a big sky genie, to me, doesn't mean that this life is meaningless.
The sky genie. You're feisty.
I am.
Like, I think, I think our roles defined. You're super eighth.
Kind of. I'm also a little woo-woo, I think, too.
I'm not sure.
Super
like,
eighth.
I'm not, like, I'm really.
And where's our comments at, too? That's the other thing.
Am I touching? Oh, I see why it's doing it. Okay, there we go.
And where's our comments? Yeah.
Oh, that. I don't think that was plugged in. Now I think we're set. And, well, look, in case you're ever doing this alone, you go to Docs.
Chat. That's right. I knew that, actually.
So
Docs
we're back
and
at it.
chat.
So what we're going to do this week, we'll get started here in a few. Welcome if you are new or just stumble across this. So why are you doing this? What's our purpose?
What's your why?
The why?
What's the why?
So when I went through kind of like thinking through some of the things of Christianity that didn't make sense anymore, there wasn't really anyone to talk to or anyone to bounce it off of, because I'd get a lot of the apologetic pat answers, a lot of the cliches, and I kind of learned there's just not much point in talking to a lot of people about that. So I went through a lot of that on my own, and knowing that was lonely, trying to process all that. So having gone through that, come to the other side.
Is doing it again?
Yeah, it just dropped out. I was a...
Shoot. Oh.
Lock volume. Let's try if that does it.
Okay.
Let's see, maybe that'll... Now.
No. I wonder if she stepped on something and... Okay, lock volume's not working. Is there... Let me put in the chat what's going on so people know. We are having audio.
That's up and running. Are all these legit? Maybe it's because it's not going directly.
Oh, it sounds like we're scatting or making like a. Is it not cutting in and out and just this is tricking us? It makes
Well,
us
it
think
usually
is?
shouldn't drop off all the way right in the middle,
Yeah.
but maybe it does.
Well, if
Let's just
anyone
do
in the
this until we
chat,
go.
yeah, yeah,
We'll just
yeah.
keep doing this.
Until
So
someone says that they can't hear it. Well, that got us about to 5 o'clock on the dot.
see
So
how like yours, maybe you're just not close enough.
maybe not. Maybe that's why it keeps losing me.
This is really a directional thing.
Hello. Yeah, it is.
But I must talk a lot louder.
I think so.
Whoa. Yeah, okay. All right. So
I talk too loud in just in normal situations and I get shushed all the time. And so I've learned to moderate my voice. But now I'm bringing it back, baby.
why are you like clear over there?
I don't know because I don't feel like I am. I don't feel like I'm clear over there.
Okay, now it says it's set up and ready to go.
Yay.
Can
Okay,
hear
can
you
hear
both.
both.
Yay.
You. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's good to know. Excellent. Speaking of, you got me this dress and look how much
Yeah.
these earrings match with it. And they didn't even come together. That was just a happy coincidence. I think you guys got me the earrings forever ago.
That's really cool.
I know. I love this dress.
I love it.
I know. Thanks. Me too.
This is going to sound weird, but when me and mom go to Amish country, I swear there's like I think it's a dish towel that I've seen that is the
Yeah.
softest, that has that
That
pattern.
kind of
And
look.
we've always talked about it, like we love it.
I
Like
bet.
it's like we love that pattern. It's so
Yeah.
summery. And then it was like similar. You had a whole dress of it.
Ta-da! It's got little gold buttons and a tiny little cutout on the back, like a little tiny cutout.
I like to call it a peekaboo
It's
back.
It is, literally. I feel like it looks very sporty and like vacation-y tennis. I don't play any sports, but if I did.
Don't you play pickleball?
Yeah, Faith does, absolutely.
Don't
and It's
you?
like fun. No, I've never. I like pickles. That is the closest
I
I've
think I would
come.
like pickleball. So back
I
on
think you would
track.
too. I think you would too.
Back at the bar, as they say, as it were. So yeah, it was just kind of lonely deconverting and going through all those questions myself. And I asked some people, and you got to be careful too, because I asked like this one gentleman who had a lot of training, was actually a college professor in. Yeah, I should play.
should
I
play.
think I want to give it a try for sure.
That'd be cool.
And like I thought I would get like dialogue and that. It was the same thing, just at a higher level. Like, you're wrong, I'm right, and here's why. And it's like, it's not. It's intelligent people that process and think through things are able to come up with different viewpoints on all this. That's what happens. It happens even within the church. Like, everybody has all kinds of different ideas and denominations and religions, and that's cool. But if you decide, I haven't really seen that or the evidence of it, and I'm leaning like, gosh, I don't know if that's even real, then all of a sudden you're like, wacko, or like no morals, or you're gonna go do horrible things, or what point do you have for living? Because how could you have reason and purpose without a God? Well, the same way anyone else does. You look at the world around you, make assessments, make priorities, determine things, make decisions, because we have minds. Like, I think that's how everybody does it.
Oh, for sure.
Including religions.
And that's why, like, because I know you said I'm super ace, and I don't know. I think, like,
with teething.
Well, I think I would consider myself atheist in the sense of, for sure, like Bible God, for sure. The way it's laid out it just, like, right out the gate, you have a book that says it doesn't contradict itself, and then immediately contradicts itself. So you're like, okay, then how much of this can you? There's a lot about the Bible that, even if that was like the true God, I probably wouldn't follow him.
And it's funny too. Like, I was listening to a conversation from an Orthodox Christian, and I think it would fall under Catholicism the same. And it's like, well, that's your mistake. You're listening to the Bible, and it's like, we also have the tradition of our fathers, and then of course the leadership of the church. They all are equal authority. And I'm like, but yeah, does the Bible ever contradict any of those? Can it be wrong? No. Well, that means ultimately then everyone's following those, or their interpretation of it.
Right.
But that's what everybody's doing. So anyway, and I don't that doesn't bother me at all that people are doing that. This is here for people that maybe aren't into that and maybe living life without faith or religion or a different, maybe just completely different than what others have said, and that's cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Everybody's got to find their way.
Find your own way, bro. Well, that was the thing too. Last week we had our first heckler that we had to kick out of it. Did we figure out how to kick him out, or did he leave?
Yeah.
What?
In our chat, someone's last name is Heckler.
Oh, it was
so
like
it was not.
It was not you.
It was, and
like
I don't think
heckler.
it was a. It was just a Christian who popped in, which awesome. It's welcome to anybody, but it's more so not a place to try to convert or argue or debate. Here's the reasons why. Number one, there's other places for that if you want to actually debate. So we're not there. This is for people that feel similar, or in a community for those who are deconverting or deconstructing,
right?
Or in that process, or it's for maybe you're somewhere thinking about that or wrestling with some of those hard questions and you truly want to ask them. So questions are great, but if it's questions like to prove someone wrong or trap someone or convert someone, it's not the space. And I'm not a great debater anyway. I like to.
Yeah, you are.
I don't think so. And I like to. All that stuff is so complex, and that's kind of like what the person did last week, and why this isn't the format. It was just chat after chat after chat. Each one, it would take forever just to have a real conversation about each of those points, and they're just being fired one after another. It's just not the place to do it. But what we wanted to do was, those are really good questions. Like I thought.
Yeah, some of them.
We thought hey, we'll just take time and I copied the chat down and we're just going to respond to them this week.
I love that idea.
And it's not to it's just to let someone know if you're in the same kind of space we're in or going through the same kind of situation, is to let you know, here's some other viewpoints on those things that are just kind of cliche and said as if they're defeaters, like there is no response to this, you lose. That's just not true. There's people that see these things completely differently. So do you want to start go through?
Yeah, so I just called him Reason because it was such a long screen name. The whole screen name was Reason and Science at Cats. Reason and Science at SBoardCom How. No, I don't know. We'll call him Reason and Science. So Reason said, can we exist without a creator? I have never seen an atheist give a plausible answer. I just said, I would say you need to prove a creator first. We have evidence of things evolving and adapting and changing in nature all the time. There's tons of evidence for that, but no one's ever actually seen, I keep talking about a God creator. No one's actually ever seen that.
Can we exist without a creator? As far as we know, evidentially, no one's demonstrated there is one,
right,
and we're all existing. So I would say yes.
Yeah, and I just said, I added I think that the onus is on the person making a claim like that. So it's just interesting that we weren't even really making a claim. There's absolutely no creator. Neither of us said that. But then he comes in and says, how can you can't exist without a creator, which is a claim. And I think if you're saying, hey, there's a big dude making stuff up in the sky, the onus would be on you to prove evidence for that claim, instead of it's just a given that there's somebody doing that.
Because what we know is people for a long time, millions of years, some scientists say that for thousands of years for sure, 12,000, 15,000, where that people have existed, and we know that for a fact. What we don't know, can't see or demonstrate, is that there's a creator. So I would say, that's a plausible answer, that we can exist without a creator, because I'm doing it right now until it's demonstrated that there is one.
I like what you said too. You were like, how could an invisible God speak dust into a living creature? I think, and not even to be mean, but just the way that he's saying it is so blatantly like, oh, this is dumb if you don't think that there's a creator. But when you take it all the way back to what the Bible actually says, which is like creating human being out of dust, it sounds wild as well. That also sounds wild. So I think just saying it, like, if somebody doesn't think that that's true, you're not dumb.
Yeah. And I mean, Genesis was an explanation of, trying to give answers how people started and stuff. And that's what they thought, is
Right.
that God would breathe life into inanimate things and they would pop up. But if you say, like we touched a little bit on abiogenesis, this, which there was a comment, one of his things was said that, I forget how it was worded, there is no evidence that abiogenesis is possible. It is actually the leading current theory of how life began among scientists. So there's a lot of people that think it is possible. Now, evidence that it's possible? Absolutely. There's evidence that it's possible.
Yeah, there
What the
is.
evidence hasn't proven yet is that that is what happened. But they have a lot of evidence that it's possible for life to come from non-living things. That's what they're working towards. And even if that falls apart, and it very well could, I'm not saying that is absolutely fact, because it hasn't been demonstrated yet. But
Right,
it
right.
is. What I do know, like historically, everything, every single thing that man has accredited to a god, whoever that god is, it has to be a god because we don't understand it. We've once we've understood it, we've learned, oh, it's not a god.
Right.
And we've done that continually through history. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the direction it continues to go, as we look into these things and study them with more and more understanding, different tools and resources and ways to go about it. We keep understanding more and more. It's amazing what we've uncovered. What used to be, people didn't know there were germs and living inside us, and how you got germs and germ theory and cells.
No, they would think you were getting punished.
DNA, no one knew all of that. It was just, God made us out of dust. How else could it be? Because
Which
here we
kind
are.
of is abiogenesis. How do you say it?
In a way.
I can't ever say it.
Abiogenesis.
Okay. So it kind of is, because it's like, well, he made something out of nothing. Oh.
And it's not like, dude, I don't even want to argue to someone about that. If you believe that's absolutely impossible, and that's the Bible is really all how it happened, awesome. That would be to
that's
convince
fine.
someone else, not me, because I've heard certainly all the kind of cliche things that were quoted, and that those are the things I spent 7, maybe 8 years now seriously thinking through, and came away with a different answer. That's all.
Do you want to do the next one? And same deal, yeah.
And I'm really okay if someone else comes away with a different answer. That's
I am,
what
as long
people
as,
do.
As long as they're not doing the judgmental, hurting people thing, guilt-based, fear-based, blah. There's just enough of that going around. So believe what you want, just don't guilt people, don't pressure people, and don't judge people.
And again, I agree completely.
Thanks.
And when you're in reading these things, I even want to give a lot of grace, because I'm just taking these statements. The guy's not here to respond. But I just wanted to address them to this community.
Yeah.
So there are other reasons, or people have thought through these things. And of course, Christians think differently.
Yes.
But the next thing was, when has no agency did it ever been a better answer than someone did it? So
I think I know what he's trying. Yeah.
I think what he was saying is, okay, all this happened without a mind. When is that a better answer than not?
When you literally can't see the mind and have never seen the mind.
But I mean, on this planet Earth, millions of times every day, things happen without a mind being involved.
Yeah.
Trees grow,
grass grows, seeds grow, animals
Tectonics shift.
are born, tectonic shift, hurricanes happen, tornadoes happen. There are like literally uncountable things that are happening every day that you would have to demonstrate a mind is causing that or did cause that. The evidence is we don't, and those are all naturally happening. That's all we know for sure up to this point, that they're naturally happening.
Yeah.
So I would say it's a very good answer. Now, if you say, who you look at a car and say, "Oh, that just naturally happened." Well, of course not. We know how people build cars.
Yeah, I hate that
Or
argument. We
people
know how
build
cars are
houses.
made. Right.
We know that, but we also know that nature itself produces all kinds of things naturally, just daily. And as far as we know, now I understand a Christian believes that that has to be a mind doing that, and that's the God of the Bible. I just know there's no demonstration or evidence of that.
Yeah.
We're both seeing the same things, but we're coming away with different conclusions of how that's happening.
Exactly. And again, to say, I think it was just the statement of how has that ever been a better answer than someone did it? And it's like, I've never seen that someone. No one's ever seen that someone. Like,
I like feisty, Jess.
it's just that like entire he's saying, hey, my big sky guy that I've never seen and none of us have ever seen obviously made that, and you're dumb for thinking otherwise. But that's just as big of a claim, if not bigger. Like, because we can see evidence of agency everywhere that we look every day at all times, and you cannot actually see God. You can't. No, you don't. And if you do, seek medication because it's not normal.
And you can't prove
That's the thing. You can't prove
something that's not there.
Right.
That's not how it works. We find something, we see something, and then a proposition is put forth, or a creator or a deity, and then we evaluate all the evidence, and then we make decisions if it's true or not. That's how everything's done and decide on. And if someone feels there's enough there, that's wonderful.
Absolutely. I think, and there's plenty of people that believe in God that don't argue with people that way, that don't spam their chats on their live stream and make them feel dumb for the way that they think. I have no problem with people that are nice, that believe in God, do their own. That's fine. I don't even want to argue with them. But when people have like that degree of attitude and come at you like you're dumb, then it can be a little fun to argue sometimes. Although I don't think arguing even works. I read this thing that I think my therapist actually sent it to me. That was all about how if you argue about somebody's it's not original belief. It's like a core value or core belief. It does not work. It only emboldens them on what they already think.
Like reinforces it.
Yeah. And so I wouldn't even argue with Reason Science Cat's board com. I wouldn't even argue with him because he couldn't hear it unless he was like questioning himself. So it wouldn't change his mind. And I don't want to change anyone's mind, but like you were saying, this is more just if you're already deconstructing or thinking these things. He asked some questions. Some of them were good. Some of them were like, okay.
But
it's worth addressing.
I am open to, because like I've said, I left the Christianity, that theology and religion, not willingly. I wanted it to be true.
Yeah.
Because of everything it meant, and it was my background, it was the people I knew and everything. So I didn't want that to be true. It happened, and my beliefs changed as I looked and tried to make it believable. The opposite happened. The more I looked into it. But
yeah.
But if there is evidence, I would love it. Like I just saw, like I think we talked about last week, it was on Fox News that they're bringing up the Noah Ark thing in Turkey again, where they found a boat shaped, and it was the interview. The guy's claiming it's the exact length of the boat as said in the Bible, and they did some thermal imaging, and it looks like there's a center beam, and it looks like there are passageways that were probably the stalls for animals, which is awesome. Wonderful. That would be so cool. That'd be so great. Wow, we would find something like that. But currently, like actual scientists, like the guy who was doing this is not, and that they were interviewing this is not his field of expertise.
Aw.
And all the scientists that have looked at this, because it's nothing new, it was first found like in the 50s, say it's like limestone cavities, it's water erosion through the tunnel. The problem is where it's at in Turkey, no one can get permission to go dig it up, and that's ultimately what's they'll find out. They
Oh,
might send a
okay. That
robot in
stinks.
there or something, but I think they're working on that. But that wouldn't be like I'm not afraid of that because if something is found that would say this is all true, I would have to. It would be clear.
Yeah, exactly.
To me, I keep thinking that anyway. Like if there's a God of the universe who our eternity hinges on believing in him or not, I think it's almost his responsibility to make himself known so that's answered whether he's real or not. And then we can all decide on who he is, what he's done, what he continues to do. Do we want to follow him?
Yeah.
Because that's fair. But like if I was to like have a child and just leave and say, you've got to love me, but they never give them even evidence if I'm real, like he's never seen me. And I don't even know if you're real. There's
Yeah.
like, that's not fair.
Exactly. No, I completely agree.
So one of the things that said that there's no evidence, he said that there's no evidence that abiogenesis is possible. and I mean, I'm not a big scientist, so this is not my area of expertise, but I just basically typed in, is there evidence that abiogenesis is possible?
That's what I did.
Into Google, and it said false. There are multiple, or I said there are no evidences that abiogenesis is possible, and Chat GTP and AI said false. There are multiple pathways being currently studied that absolutely point to the fact that it is possible, even if not what evidence, even in I'll stop there. And so there's many leading scientists that are exploring different pathways. One's through thermal vents in the bottom of the ocean. One's through the experiment of 1950s, and another was something that was done in the 20s.
Yeah. Yeah.
That are no one's saying that's been solved, but it is possible. That's why they're
Well, his claim is literally there's no evidence that it's possible.
yeah.
And I'm like, but there's no evidence that a big magic sky guy is possible either. And so that's what's just really bizarre.
Well, there
Because to
is.
say there's no evidence it's possible, well, right. But I would say it's the same. Like, okay,
Yeah.
if you're going to make that claim, then you also have to say, it's not 100% that there's big magic sky guy. Because I feel like they're both big claims. The only thing is, it's that there has been a lot of studies where they're like, yeah, I agree that it's not proven. I believe that abiogenesis is not proven, but there's a lot of studies that think it is possible, and that it could. And it was like 2 billion or whatever years ago, and they said I think something about like underwater hot springs could have created right conditions.
Because there's vents that they're studying today where they're seeing signs of
yeah,
non-living matter that are, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not even going there.
with
But
like the polypeptides and the
But what we do know is that there is a planet with living things on it. We
Yes.
know for a fact. So the question is, how did it get here? Naturally or supernaturally? And
Right.
that's just, awesome. If someone feels there's more evidence towards supernatural that caused it, great.
Absolutely. And that's totally fine. Like I am not on Christian people's live streams arguing with them. I think that's
No,
the difference.
I don't-
Like I have
I
no
wouldn't even
desire
bother.
to change. But just to say there's no evidence that it's possible is just wrong.
Yeah,
There's definitely
that's kind of what
a
to
lot
me
of
is like.
scientific evidence that it's possible.
And is it possible that God exists?
Yes,
Sure.
it is.
Absolutely.
Until you absolutely prove there's not, or you absolutely prove that there is, then of course.
Yeah.
The next one he said was, can you show that the physical world is all there is? And I wrote, well, it's literally the only thing I can see, touch, taste, and interact with. I cannot prove that there's not a spirit world, but you also cannot prove that there's one either. I don't care if
Yeah.
somebody thinks, I would love to think, I think there could be. I would love to think that like Richard Simmons and my deceased dog Reggie are out like hanging out right now. That's like my biggest dream. I would love that because they both passed
Rainbow
on.
Bridge.
Yes, and they're frolicking over the Rainbow Bridge, and Richard's afro is like bouncing in the breeze. Richard Simmons is my just heart person.
Lift those legs.
Oh my God, he's so encouraging.
Well, that was pretty
I
bad.
love Richard so much.
But I thought it
Lift
was.
those legs.
I thought it was interesting too that it was just kind of like why it's so hard to have conversations when I tried with believers because everything gets strawmanned or cliched or no one's listening.
Yes.
I never once said that the physical world all there is. If you would ask me, I'll tell you right off, I don't know.
Same.
I
Me too.
don't know. Could there be something beyond the physical? Absolutely. I never said there wasn't.
Yeah.
What I said and was studying the Bible, believing that what I was taught as a Christian, I don't believe anymore. That because of all the reasons I don't.
Yeah, which is
But
fair.
but that's okay. But I never said there's nothing spiritual.
I don't think I did either.
Of course I don't think the physical is all I think we currently know, and that's been demonstrated because
Yes.
the only
that.
places that it's not demonstrated are by those who are in churches or who are, on the History Channel doing.
Ghost
Did you
hunting.
hear that noise in the haunted house, or did you see that shadow? Like once it's demonstrated, the whole world's gonna know.
I would say the physical
once
world's the
God's-
only one you can prove, is what I would say.
It
right now.
has been.
Has
Like
been.
we're still every proof that's tried to been given up to this point is highly questionable, or so much room for question. It's still a question. That's
Right.
why it's still a question, and it's a matter of faith.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. It hasn't been proven.
But once again, like that really, like, can you show that that's all that there is? Again, I would say the onus is on the person making the claim of something you cannot see to prove that it's real. So if you're going to be like, how do you prove this is all there is? And I'm like, because I'm sitting in a chair looking at a tree out the window, and this is a person next to me that I can touch. The onus is on the person claiming that there's a spiritual realm.
Yeah.
And I want there to be. And I'm not saying that there's not. It's just weird to come at people with that kind of attitude when it's like, dude, you're the one like making a claim that is not provable. At least the physical world is provable.
But in just following up on this guy, because I followed up his name and saw some of his stuff out there. I mean, it's not
Oh, I'm
a
gonna feel
good
bad.
faith kind of person that the goal is to let's have a discussion and let's see what we can learn. Like, that's not it. Like, it's like he's in deep. Like, he's in deep.
Yeah, he probably likes finding atheists
in the Christian world, and it's not.
He probably enjoys.
I just don't know
finding
why he would come
deconstructed
here.
Spaces, and because he wants to argue with people. I think he really wants to argue with people.
So the next one was.
Oh, word salad. I just skipped it. Fact that it is here does not equal there.
No,
is
you missed one. It says, here is a machine. Is it better to say
I missed it.
that an engineer invented it or random events created it? Proteins are molecular machines.
Dude, first you have to show me there's a God, because I can find an engineer. I know engineers personally. So if you show me God, like, okay.
And what I was,
so dumb.
and it's really and this is why I want to talk, because these are some of the leaps you get that are kind of, and if you're not, take time, just think it through, back off. You don't have to give anyone answers if they're throwing this kind of stuff. You can say, that's a great insight. Let me think about that.
That's really,
and go
yeah,
away
true.
and think about it, because once you just think about it, here is a machine. Is it better to say an engineer invented it or random events created it? If you show me a machine, I'm absolutely going to say an engineer invented it, because we know and have seen over and over engineers design, mechanics build machines. We know that's how machines are built. Now, proteins are molecular machines. That's where the big leap is.
That's a leap.
Because it's organic. It's an organic thing. Do they have machine-like qualities that we can say, well, they're machine-like? Well, absolutely,
Sure.
but the difference is one's organic life and the other is not. So they're not the same. So it's not equivalent. And so then it goes back to where did these proteins and molecules come from?
Yeah.
And
Same, which is
it,
the
it,
same
it-
big question then.
yeah, just going back to the same
Yeah.
question, but the evidence like saying there has to be an intelligent design, it truly could be that all the organic
Sorry.
compounds that we know of have always been in existence because are you okay?
Yeah, I just went down the wrong pipe.
You know things of like
Sorry.
science, like
Okay, we're good.
energy cannot be created and destroyed, matter, um, where does matter come from? Like all those are the questions we're all actually trying to answer.
Mhm.
So it could be that something had to be eternal or forever, and that could be the planet. It could be the cosmos, the universe. It could be matter, energy, those non-living things that we know for a fact are here because they're here.
Yeah.
That could
That's
be
fine.
where things came from. And that's what some of the abiogenesis work is studying is, can inanimate objects create life, spark life? And I don't think it's any more hard to imagine that that's possible than know there was a God that somehow, I don't know, without space and time where he would have been. I don't know, with nothing
yeah.
where he would have existed, how any of that would have happened. But where did his
Yeah.
start come from? And if he has to be eternal, then we're both back to both believing in things that are eternal. And we can equally do that.
And then wouldn't he have to have been sparked from abiogenesis too? Or
I think they just say he's like, so he like, I think philosophically, like there has to be the starting grounding point of it all. There has to, and it has to have a mind involved. But that's philosophy. It's not truth. It's not fact. That's just
Yeah.
a viewpoint.
And I don't find something coming, like a living organism coming from non-organic material any more far-fetched than an infinite being that always was. And I think that like either way, it's just very big and mind-boggling. And so I can see it either way.
Yeah, I mean, and I think like there could be some superior race, being, or whatever that
Like,
did.
like aliens.
Alien, yeah, not
I was like,
superior race.
this live stream's about to get canceled.
But
guys.
It
I
could
think so
be
too.
because
I hope
who,
so.
who knows? But here's what, because I know it couldn't be the God of the Bible because the things that are in there that
No.
unless it was written by men and they just got it all wrong, and then that means then it's still a God we don't know anything about and is distant and it doesn't interact with mankind. And so it's really kind of, what's he doing anyway? Maybe he was a starter of planets and universes, and that's what he goes about doing and leaves them on their own, but he's certainly not interacting here.
And I'm sure he doesn't care if women like don't cut their hair because there's angels in it, or wear skirts that are above the knee. I just have this feeling that there is some big cosmic being. He doesn't care if you like hold hands with a boy. And if he does, he's terrible. Oh, I just totally forgot what I was gonna say. I had something funny to say and I forget. That's probably
It'll
for
come
the
back
better.
to you.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you got?
Oh, real quick, I know what it was. You said that about like aliens and superior races. Guys, this is why always be nice to animals, because imagine if some beings came to Earth and they were superior to us the way that we were to animals. Would you want them to treat you like you treat animals? And if not, that's how you should treat animals. That's how I feel.
Hey, that's good.
Isn't that interesting? I
Yeah.
think there's books out there, but I thought about writing a book about like some they keep as pets, like ones that they like, and then some they eat and like breed for just meat, like aliens keep people. And then my fiance said that was already a book. But isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
hey,
It's a really good like thought experiment.
Even if it's a good idea, like it can still be a book because
Yeah.
it wouldn't be the same as the other.
Put a 1 in the chat if you would read it. Just kidding.
Boing.
Listen, if I could come back in a second life as my own dog, I will have one, because He is very treasured.
Okay.
Love him.
My dog is a.
You are so nicer. She was crawling all over his desktop and keyboard and stuff before we started the live stream, and Dad was just letting her walk around. She actually turned on our video monitor.
I know. Oh, maybe she is a future.
Oh, superior being. And Faith says yes and agrees with me.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. And they speak through the very sophisticated method of booty scooting.
That's what my dog does.
I will spell out a message to you.
He did in a full circle the other night. We were on the
That's
couch
so gross.
eating snacks, and we looked up, and Gruber was doing a scoot, and he did a full 360 circle, and then just stopped. It was kind of
Our dog did
it was like
what?
ballet. It was beautiful.
I'm like,
She
I
did
liked you so much. Why do you do that when I'm eating? Even like, God.
And her feet look flowy like this.
Oh, okay. I can't wait till she evolves and walks on her back feet.
Oh, you don't want that. That would look weird.
Okay, what you got next?
Reason, whatever, Science Cats said, if you cannot answer these questions, then you have no warrant to hold your position. I said, when you can show me an actual tangible God of the Bible and I can see him like I can see my dog and my family, then sure, I have no warrant to hold my position.
Very good.
But if you can't answer where the heck he is anymore, then I can guarantee you that life sprang up out of a hot spring billions of years ago. Then it's just a belief also. And you can't make yourself believe something that you don't believe. So I would argue that Reason, Science Cats, or whatever, has no more, I don't even know if he uses that correctly, warrant to hold his position than we do, because until you can bring actual proof either way and say,
yeah,
then anyone can hold any position or belief that they want. It's also a free country.
And they do.
You hold whatever belief you want. Yeah.
That's what every religion denomination does. It's
what did you say to that?
I said, answer them all. Because he's like, if you cannot answer these questions, I'm like, well, that's what we've been doing. There are answers to all of these questions.
Sure. And some of the answers might be we don't know, because we do not have absolute 100% proof yet that life can come out of something that's inorganic. We don't have that. But there are definitely answers to what he's saying. We can answer them. They might just not be like a fulfilling answer, but I would argue his answers probably are not particularly fulfilling either. I think he brought up the Shroud of Turin at some point, and I literally just wrote, can't even deal with this, buddy, come on. And then I felt kind of bad because I'm like...
It said something about that the Shroud of Turin corroborates the Gospels, which...
no, it doesn't.
I know in particular circles of apologists and teachers and online videos and those kind of, that in their world it does, but people like actual scientists that have studied that and really looked at that, I mean, the thing's been debunked so many times, and it's pretty conclusive. That's it was something done in the 1500s. But even if there was a shroud that we found of Jesus, it doesn't prove something
No, it proved that there was a Jesus guy that lived then. I'm sure there was. I think there was a person.
I mean, I guess...
But I don't know that a shroud...
I guess the idea that he resurrected because he left it and his image was there, but other people have resurrected. And according to Greek, Roman history...
Yeah, that was a thing to do.
It was resurrection was not an isolated thing in Jesus' time. In the Greek and Roman history, their history, which of course we look at that and call it mythology, but it wasn't to them. They were writing their history and adding things like that in there just the same way. So I don't know. It still doesn't prove that this person, even if he did that, was God. There were so many contradictions and conflicts associated with him between him and the New Testament that would kind of make all of that a moot point.
Well, I would almost say kind of like with Noah's Ark. So even if they did uncover a huge boat that was written to the correct dimensions, I wouldn't say, oh man, that means that God really flooded the entire world to kill everyone, and this one family really took 2 of every species of animal and floated around for how many days? 40?
Yeah.
And then that's how they repopulated the earth. Like
Wait, how many floated around 40 days? No, they were. It was a lot longer than that, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
I
That's
think it
something I really
rained
knew.
40 days and nights.
Oh, I think you're right. It was a long time. Wait a minute. If they were the only, oh yeah, they had wives and stuff. I was like, wait, did they? But then I remembered the guys brought wives with them. Okay, good.
Also,
Not that
there's
the
some
Bible's like super down always on incest, but
some people believe. I heard the one belief that how the Nephilim,
Nephilim. Oh yeah.
how they were there after the flood is that one of them, the leading guy, hung on the side of the ark the whole time.
No.
Yeah, so
Aw.
like hung on there and landed, and there's all kinds of crazy beliefs out
Sounds
there.
legit. Yeah,
Like
that's
you start
fine.
looking into some of that Old Testament stuff in Genesis when it talks about like the gods and the kings and the sons of gods.
Oh yeah, you're
Like
right. You're right.
you can really see how monotheism kind of evolved
Yeah.
out of that. But
And that's fine. It's totally fine. Just be nice and not judgy about it, please, for the love of God. Okay. Oh, here, maybe you answer this one because my answer wasn't great. Reason Bible Cats or whatever said the Bible is not true equals there is no God. Logical fallacy. And I think you were like, well, I never said that.
I apologize if I did. I would never say that
There's no
the
God.
Bible's not true equals there's no God. I would say the Bible, to say it's an all loving God, an all just God, are contradictions. So that's not, if you stick with the Bible and just read it. So
Yeah.
like a God of love, a God of justice, the perfect Father, that's not in there. Jesus being all love, that's not in there.
I think I basically said the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
we never said there's
Those
no
are the
gods.
challenges, not that it means there's no God. It means the one that's portrayed in Christianity is not accurate.
Absolutely.
Too many contradictions in there.
I said, I don't know about any other gods except for my dog. Gruber is my religion. He's my only God.
Oh my gosh. You are in so much trouble. And if you spell dog backwards,
I know. Dear dog.
okay. You are such a bad person.
I know.
Okay, what you got?
If you say abiogenesis is a working position, then you've definitely not studied the subject. I wrote 2 books on the subject, and the first thing I said was, I wrote a book about a sleep paralysis demon, but that does not make me an expert on sleep paralysis demons. So, guys, anybody can, and good for you, buddy. It's cool. Anyone can write and publish a book, and so like I can write and publish a book. That I would prefer to know, like, hey, do you have credentials? Did you study this extensively in college? Was it a Christian college? Did you take a apologetics course online that taught you all the like static arguments?
Yeah, and if you're writing about abiogenesis, like what is your like biology background? What's your, like, how long and how deep are you in that world? I mean, I know you can read a lot of stuff online and that kind of thing, but it's so hard to verify what's coming from where. So like that's why I do trust people that have dedicated their lives to actually getting trained in those different fields, and then continue to dedicate the rest of their life to stay on top of learning and are in those subjects, and then being peer reviewed by other people in that same field, that their goal is to tear apart what they're saying to find loopholes because they're trying to find the truth. Where in apologetics, it's the opposite. You can say whatever, and like if you're preaching to the right choir, no one's going to say anything. Like, you know, they're wanting to hear someone with a doctorate or schooling next to their name to be saying the right things that they want to hear. You're never going to get pushed back that way. And that's what I found a lot as a Christian, and it just seemed a little like started getting like concerning to me. Like there should be outside voices checking these things. There should be outside thoughts and opinions checking these things.
Oh, miss you too.
Hey.
And really weird. Yeah, you can find my short story about the paralysis team. Just kidding. I wonder, he's like, can you tell me where to find those books? LMAO, should we add them like in a comment afterward? I can just add a comment with a link.
I can show you, I could put a link of what I found of his stuff. If you just Google at Reason and Science Cats Board.
No, the cats is part of. Oh, it is cats.
Yeah, sciencecatsboard.com. If you like that, all I did was Google that, and his stuff came up. I think it was a page. Here, I can just type it in there.
Oh, that's a good
Wait,
idea.
do you know how? Oh, and my mouse thing's over there.
Do you want me to?
Wait,
oh,
can
yeah,
you do
the
it on this?
dongle.
We'll have to do it afterwards.
Okay, yeah, we'll just attach it in the chat afterward.
Yep. In like that's the thing to do is like if I was really interested in what he had to say,
Yeah.
I would read the books. But I mean, there are accredited scientists who this is their like field of study, and these people like are not jokes. They're not like they're not just doing this to like bum out Christians. It's like they want to know, so they're like studying it and willing to put their studies out there and have it peer reviewed. That's what I would put a lot more faith in that. Then someone you can write, a person can write as many books as they want. That alone doesn't mean a lot.
I also wrote
except that you write
a book from the perspective of a sentient bathroom scale, which did not win the competition it was entered in, and I feel robbed a little bit.
It was a good short
Thank
story
you.
for sure.
But that does not mean bathroom scales are sentient. And if they are, what an awful job they have that every day someone stands on them and they just look up their naked body. That's like the start of their best job. I don't know.
Like, and again, like maybe you guys have heard people say things to you like as you've asked questions or questions you've wondered about Christianity or like the cliches or things that people have said to you. I'm just curious if so, you can throw it up there in the
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
chat and
The chat.
in the chat. So do we have any left?
Yeah, but I like that really weird said rubs hands together atheistically. That's why I started cracking
Dude,
up.
we were all like
That
last
was
week,
so funny.
that guy, because he wouldn't stop, and I was like, hey man, this isn't the place. Like, this is for people that are, not for debating. So
Yes,
like,
he
and then he
wouldn't.
just kept going, and I was like, hey man, like, if you're a follower of Jesus, I think you're supposed to be loving, kind, gentle, gracious, like to people, and I'm asking you kindly to please stop. Won't you stop?
It's
And I
bad
was
when the
like,
atheists are quoting
and,
scripture.
and honestly, I'm saying that pretty nicely, but with my hand, I was like, how do I delete this guy out of chat? Because
Yes.
I had no idea how to.
So thank you to our mod for being back today.
Yeah.
Because now it's been pretty chill in the chat. Wait, can I do this one real quick? Because we're running out of
Oh,
time,
sorry.
but
I
I
got
have to
excited.
get to this one.
Oh, she had
Oh
to.
wait, there's two. Okay. First of all, yeah, all of this. If I had leaned in.
Headbutt you.
All of this again is couched in. We were like really nicely asking this guy to go away so that the chat was open for other people, and literally wouldn't. And so, guys, I know so much freaking scripture, and I'm like, here we go. I'm gonna start unloading the scripture gun.
In mine, it's like, okay, so we don't have a ton of people
Yeah, and he
in
was just
chat
hogging
or
the chat.
listening probably, but these videos go out there, and the thing I'm like, again, it's just not the format. I'm thinking like some person out there, like I was, struggling with all these questions, and hey, here's someone, and they want to listen to it, and then hearing some validation or at least some different viewpoints, and then getting that kind of BS, the same old cliches in the chat is what I wanted to avoid, because it's
Yeah.
not so much about me or
And making people feel dumb that
Yeah.
that they've come to a different conclusion, because certainly it is never my intent ever to make someone feel dumb for what they think. Like, I understand that people can reach different conclusions. I understand that you cannot help what you believe. Belief is not a choice. And so we just want to keep it like a respectful space, which this chat has very much been tonight, which is great. And Landon said, I think I'd consider myself an agnostic atheist, so I definitely don't believe in like the God of the Bible. I think there's too many contradictions, and but I also think, heck, who knows? I can't prove that there's not some kind of supernatural being.
For me, it was really Christianity is what I knew. So I knew of, of course, Islam and Judaism and a little bit of the others, but Christianity was like the core belief, and it was those kind of ideas that, as I looked into them to strengthen my growing doubts that they were undermined, and I ended up not believing and coming to a point where I couldn't believe the Christian faith. I don't know what that makes me other than that. I would love to believe that there's a loving God that is looking out for all of us, and I'm open to evidence for that, and I'm open, I'm open to there could be anything out there. I just
Yeah.
the idea that I was able to believe that that story was true, I just can't anymore, and don't. The unbelief kind of happened
Yeah.
during the process of trying to strengthen my belief
Me too.
because of what I
Yeah.
was reading and looking into and hearing. So,
And
but
I
thanks
think,
for asking.
yeah, that's a really good question. And I think almost every week we reinforce too that it doesn't matter what you consider or call yourself as far as like labels go. Everyone's absolutely welcome in this live stream. And sometimes I think like, oh, maybe I'm just an agnostic. Some days I'm like, I'm a hardcore atheist. And so it kind of like fluctuates too, depending on how woo woo I'm feeling or what the cycles of the moon are. Just kidding.
And my process was a long process. Had a very significant conversion, in my, and it was emotional,
Yeah.
experience based conversion. But then I was
In,
told to start reading the Bible, and that's when it all started falling apart because all the contradictions and things I thought that I would find in there based on what I was being told, and that this is God's clear revelation to mankind on his story of redemption. I'm like, oh, I don't know what everybody else is reading, but I'm not seeing it in here. So I
yeah.
started searching for a long time. And then even at Bible college, I just saw too many things that were, and certainly no answers there, and just more of the same. And then it just continued to grow, but I wanted it to be so, I wanted it to be true, but I continued reading the Bible and studying it, and that's what eventually led me to the point where this can't be real. So, but
Fair enough. And some people come
and
to
I
different conclusions
and I
too.
think like this too. Maybe that's what. Maybe if there is a God, maybe that's what he's doing. He's like, hey, I put this out there. Let's see how many people figure out that there's no way this could be the real thing.
That could be.
It could be. Who knows? Like that's my theory, but not really. But I wonder sometimes because it's like.
Let me bring this up too because I think this is interesting. So Reason Cats or whatever last week also said he's like I'm not here to argue or debate, which clearly he was. All you have to say is we lack something. So basically, he's saying you just come up on your platform and say we don't believe in God. How is it? How is that meaningful? And how is anything meaningful without a creator? And the first thing I thought of was I understand this feeling a little bit, but as a woman in Christianity, I probably have a very different perspective than a man in Christianity. Because to me, it wasn't like, oh, I just have this, now I lack something. It's like, hey, the almighty being of the entire universe is literally telling you in his holy book that you are second to men in everything. Shouldn't teach men, shouldn't lead men, should be obedient to your husband. And as somebody who just got engaged, can I just tell you guys, oh, girl, no, we're not obedient. Like, we're a team. We make team decisions. It was very liberating. Like, okay, I'm not a Jezebel. I'm not a whore. Like, there's a lot of female oppression in the Bible. So when he said, how is your life meaningful? I'm out here like, woohoo! Once I realized the big oppressive woman hater misogynist of the universe, like to me, is not real. It's like, well, sweet. That's good news, guys. That's great news.
And so little of my meaning changed because
Yeah.
what's always been very meaningful is people and my family in particular, my
Aw,
son, daughter, son-in-law, my wife,
your dog.
my dog, handful of friends, family, music, enjoying life, helping
Nature.
others,
Nature.
enjoying the planet. Like, hey, I've got this limited time. It somehow seems more valuable than the idea that this is a test run and what's the big deal because the payoff's really in heaven, which never really made sense to me because one thing I knew that I had was this time right now. Like, that's what I know for sure. Because it's even said that's our hope is that there's this other life.
Yeah,
And
it's a
it's
dress
like
rehearsal.
this one's like really important. Like this one has all the meaning because this is the one that I know that is real. And we've talked about it
That's
a
what I
lot
wrote.
too.
Yeah.
is like I used to, and not in a negative way, but a lot of people would say like, um, people would say like, I'm praying for you, just almost off the cuff and all that. And what I found out when I couldn't say that anymore because I wasn't praying to anybody, it was I started thinking more of what can I do for this person, or how can I impact this person to help them in a real way in their life, because and that's really changed a lot and added tons more meaning, because I find myself doing that a whole lot more than when I would just hear things and be like, I'll pray for you, or
Yes.
um,
Absolutely. And actually, like, did you read that?
no, I
Or
didn't. Do you want to read it?
yeah, so Faith, I love this because I think a lot of people have had experiences like this in church, and not all. And I've had some good experiences too. But saying at an adult Bible study in the late 90s discussing Jesus on the cross, you asked, hey, why didn't his father take his pain away? Great question. Very fair question for a loving father. And a lady spun her head around like Linda Blair and declared, because he was the Son of God. And you never went back again and never went to church again. And yes, Bible study should be a safe place, and you thought true, it should be a safe place to ask questions, and that's a fair question. And I'm sorry that happened.
That
That's
really
insane.
is like I can just relate so much.
Same. I
That
can
kind of
relate
thing,
so
and
much.
that is like a what a not only a good question, an incredibly obvious question. That's what
Yes.
everybody should be asking. If this is God, why would he do that to him or us? Like, we would be put in prison or jail if we did any of the stuff God does to people and his son, and
Yes,
we would never be considered a good father. I think it's the most obvious question.
it
Like,
is.
why would he do that? Like, when you have the ability and the power to make all of this not like this, with the cancer, with the children's sicknesses and disease, all the things that we deal with that are just part of life. If someone really had the ability to make that not be that way and still make things good and that we appreciate things, and if you're all powerful, obviously you could do that.
Yes,
Um,
correct.
like this had to be the only way. It just seems really odd. But I
They all
agree
looked
so
at you
much.
like you were a psycho. Oh, my friend. I relate to that so hard. I feel
Yeah.
like I was often the brunt of the evil eye in church because of my swanky Jezebelian ways and my loud mouth and my outspoken. And you too, because I feel like there were obvious questions that there seemed to be like almost an unwritten code that people knew, well, you're not supposed to say that. Some of us didn't always get the memo and would ask those questions, which you should be able to ask literally anything. You're not a psycho. I think it's a great question. And
Yeah, I thought when I was in Bible college, because I had a lot of questions, and I was in a theology class, and I asked, if we believe that there's an age of accountability, that if a child dies before that, they automatically go to heaven. And if that's the greatest good that can happen in this world, is that you're going to heaven. And if you get past that age of accountability, we know the Bible teaches the road is narrow and very few will find it. So the chance of going to hell is extremely high. Why are we so harsh on people that are committing abortions? Because we know
such a good
because
point.
we know for a fact those children will immediately go and never have the opportunity
Straight to
to
heaven.
experience eternal damnation, which to me today still makes sense in that theology.
It does.
But God, you could imagine
That didn't go
that was
over
not
well.
looked at like you're a psycho is kind of the exact same
Do you
kind
know?
of thing.
So
But it still makes sense to me. Like,
really weird in the chat. Like we were literally together when I had that same exact epiphany, and how there is that age of accountability. So that just means, like in the Bible, basically, if an infant passes away because they don't have the ability to understand salvation and accept Christ, automatically go to heaven, and that's the end goal, right? So we're sitting there on the couch, and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm not a Christian anymore. I think I'm leaning agnostic atheist. Wait a minute, why aren't Christians like the most pro-abortion of anybody? Because then everyone's like guaranteed going straight to heaven and don't have so I just think that's so funny that we both at different points had
I think it's a lot. And a lot of things like that are what cause, like, the logic of the religion is really lacking in so many areas for me. And I get the answers that are given. I've heard them all.
I used to
from the
say some of
apologist.
them.
I used to say them myself, but I always with that twinge of like, God, that just does not make sense.
Same. It wouldn't resonate. And then I would just try to not really think about it, put it in the back of my mind. I'll be like, well, I'll just pray it away because I must not understand it in my limited human brain. But as we always say, this is the only brain I got, and I cannot force it to believe something that I don't.
Well, awesome. On that very, very high
Yeah.
note, it is 6 o'clock, so we won't
Oh.
keep you all.
And
Thank
I'm
you.
starving.
Thank you all so much for joining us, and
Thank you for
looking
being
forward
here,
to.
Daddy-o.
Thank you.
You love doing this with you.
Me too. I love doing this
Aw.
with you. I look forward to it every week.
So
and
do
thank
I.
you, moderator, and all you
Yeah, thank you guys.
chattaladdles.
Chatterongas.
All right. We'll see y'all next. Have a great week.
Bye.
I can't stop because I don't have my. You've got to take this
is
out of
so
the mic
awkward
and
now.
put.
Keep saying goodbye. Keep saying.